Ever pondered if a whole state could go bankrupt just like an individual or a corporation? It's an intriguing thought, isn't it? Yet, to fully understand this concept, we first need to grasp the essence of bankruptcy itself. In its most basic form, bankruptcy represents a legally declared inability or impairment of an entity's ability to pay its creditors. It's a shield, a sort of financial reset button that allows an individual or a company to either discharge their debts or make a plan to repay them. This concept, however, isn't as straightforward as it sounds. Bankruptcy is a complex legal process, and it varies greatly depending on the entity in question. For individuals, it's often a last resort, an escape hatch when the weight of debt becomes too crushing. For corporations, it's a strategic tool, allowing them to restructure, recalibrate, and hopefully bounce back stronger. Now, you might be wondering, how does this all relate to a state? Can a state, with its vast resources and complex financial structures, also hit this financial reset button? The answer isn't as simple as a yes or a no. States, unlike individuals or corporations, operate under a different set of rules and regulations. They have unique responsibilities and powers that influence their financial management and, consequently, their susceptibility to bankruptcy. It's essential to note, though, that the concept of state bankruptcy isn't merely a theoretical discussion. It's a real concern that has surfaced in various parts of the world, stirring up debates among economists, politicians, and citizens alike. State bankruptcy, or the lack thereof, can have profound impacts on the state's economy, its citizens, and even the global financial landscape. So with that groundwork laid, it's time to delve deeper into this fascinating topic. As we proceed, we will unravel the similarities and differences between state bankruptcy and personal or corporate bankruptcy. Buckle up, as it promises to be an enlightening journey into the world of finance and economics. In the world of finance and economics, personal and corporate bankruptcy are familiar concepts. But what are they really, and why do they happen? Personal bankruptcy is a financial state where individuals are unable to meet their debt obligations. It often stems from unforeseen circumstances such as job loss, medical expenses, or divorce. When someone declares personal bankruptcy, they're essentially saying, "I can't pay my debts." The process involves a thorough examination of the individual's financial situation by the court. Assets may be liquidated to repay creditors, or a repayment plan may be established. This process can have significant impacts on an individual's credit score and future borrowing ability, but it also offers a fresh start, a chance to rebuild one's financial standing. On the other hand, corporate bankruptcy occurs when a business cannot meet its financial obligations. This could be due to poor management, economic downturns, or changes in market demand. In this case, the company declares, "We can't pay our debts." Much like personal bankruptcy, corporate bankruptcy involves a thorough examination of the company's financial health. The aim is to repay creditors as much as possible. This may involve selling off assets or restructuring the company's operations. While corporate bankruptcy can lead to job losses and reduce shareholder value, it can also provide an opportunity for the company to reinvent itself and emerge stronger. It's a sort of financial restructuring that can lead to more efficient operations and better profitability in the future. Both personal and corporate bankruptcy carry legal and financial consequences. They can damage credit ratings, limit future borrowing, and bring about a certain social stigma. However, they also provide a legal way out of insurmountable debt, offering a chance to start over, restructure, and rebuild. While personal and corporate bankruptcy are somewhat understood, state bankruptcy remains a less explored terrain. Let's delve into it. Scene script. State bankruptcy, a concept that might seem alien to many, carries its own set of complexities. Now, let's delve into the labyrinth of state bankruptcy. Unlike personal or corporate bankruptcy, state bankruptcy is a term that's often misunderstood. So what does it mean for a state to go bankrupt? In essence, state bankruptcy is a situation where a state is unable to meet its financial obligations. This could arise from a variety of circumstances. perhaps due to an economic downturn, poor fiscal management, or a drastic increase in public debt. When the inflow of state revenues is outpaced by its outgoings, the risk of bankruptcy starts to loom. However, it's crucial to note that a state can't file for bankruptcy like a person or a corporation can. This is because states, as sovereign entities, have the power to adjust their spending and increase their income through taxation. Bankruptcy laws that apply to individuals and corporations don't apply to states. So if a state can't technically go bankrupt, what happens when it can't pay its bills? Well, the state would have to find ways to balance its budget. This might involve reducing spending, increasing taxes, or restructuring its debt. In some cases, the federal government might step in to provide financial assistance. But this is not a given, and it often comes with strings attached. The legal and financial implications of state bankruptcy are profound. A state grappling with financial distress can experience a downturn in public services, an increase in taxes, and a decline in overall economic health. It can also affect the state's credit rating, making future borrowing more expensive. These consequences not only impact the state's economy, but also have a ripple effect on the lives of its citizens. From education to healthcare to infrastructure, state bankruptcy can touch every aspect of a community's daily life. Now that we've gotten a grip on what state bankruptcy entails, it's time to draw some comparisons. While bankruptcy might seem like a universal concept, the devil, as they say, is in the details. First, let's talk about the legal processes. Personal or corporate bankruptcy involves a clear legal pathway. An individual or corporation can file for bankruptcy when they're unable to meet their financial obligations. A court then steps in to either restructure the debts or liquidate assets to repay creditors. State bankruptcy, on the other hand, isn't so straightforward. In fact, the idea of a state declaring bankruptcy is somewhat controversial. That's because unlike corporations or individuals, states cannot simply liquidate their assets to pay off debts. Furthermore, there's no established legal framework for states to declare bankruptcy in most countries, including the United States. Instead, states often have to resort to measures like budget cuts or tax increases to manage their debts. Now let's consider the financial consequences. Personal or corporate bankruptcy can lead to severe credit damage, making it difficult for individuals or businesses to secure loans in the future. But it also offers a fresh start, a chance to wipe the slate clean and rebuild financially. State bankruptcy doesn't offer the same fresh start. Instead, it can lead to increased borrowing costs, as lenders may demand higher interest rates to account for the increased risk. This, in turn, can exacerbate the state's financial difficulties, creating a vicious cycle of debt. Lastly, the social implications. Personal or corporate bankruptcy can carry a stigma, often seen as a sign of financial irresponsibility. State bankruptcy, meanwhile, can lead to public outrage, as it may result in cuts to public services and increased taxes, affecting the lives of millions of people. So, while bankruptcy might appear to be a one-size-fits-all solution to financial woes, the reality is far more complex. Each type of bankruptcy carries its own unique set of challenges and implications. As we've seen, state bankruptcy and personal or corporate bankruptcy are similar in concept but diverge significantly in practice. Having traversed the landscape of bankruptcy, it's time to consolidate our understanding. Let's take a moment to reflect and draw out the key points from our journey through this complex world. Firstly, it's clear that bankruptcy, while universally recognized as a financial low point, is far from a one-size-fits-all concept. The intricacies vary significantly depending on whether we're discussing personal, corporate, or state bankruptcy. Each type carries its own set of rules, impacts, and implications, and understanding these nuances is crucial to fully grasp the broader economic picture. Personal bankruptcy, for instance, is a legal process that allows individuals to eliminate or repay some or all of their debts under the protection of the Federal Bankruptcy Court. It's a tool for financial reset, offering a fresh start to those overwhelmed by personal debt. On the other hand, corporate bankruptcy is a legal mechanism that allows businesses to restructure their debts while continuing to operate or to liquidate their assets to repay creditors. It's a complex process that impacts not only the company, but also its employees, shareholders, and the broader market. State bankruptcy, however, is a different beast altogether. States, unlike individuals or corporations, cannot technically declare bankruptcy. Instead, they must navigate financial crises through other means, such as austerity measures, bailouts, or debt restructuring. This process is often politically charged and can have far-reaching social and economic impacts. Throughout our discussion, we've underscored the importance of understanding these concepts in the broader economic context. Bankruptcy, in all its forms, is more than just a financial issue. It's an economic indicator, a mirror reflecting the health of our economies and the resilience of our financial systems. By comprehending the nuances of bankruptcy, we gain valuable insights into the complexities of economic systems, be it at an individual, corporate, or state level.